Hello everyone and welcome to the latest episode of Sean's Movie Crusades. My name is Sean Wasserkrug and I'm here to give you all the latest reviews on anything in theaters as well as anything you guys recommend, whether they be recent films or old school movies. Now before we get into today's episode, I'd like to go ahead and have you guys hit that like, share, and subscribe button to the channel so that way you guys stay up to date with all the latest videos that come out on the channel. Also don't forget to follow us on all the social media things you see down below. Now, today's episode, we're going to go over the top actress performances of 2018. We also have gone over top supporting actress, top supporting actor, top actors, and top directors. If you guys would like to see those videos, head on over to the video section on the channel, and you guys can watch them there. So as we go over the top actresses of 2018, there's been a lot of fantastic performances throughout the year. Some of them are getting rightfully considered for nominations in the Golden Globes and the Oscars, and others are getting criminally underrated and appreciated, and one of them in particular will be talked about on this episode. Some of them are just personal favorites of mine that I really liked throughout the year that aren't going to get any recognition, but I felt like they should be talked about and appreciated on this episode. So these are in no particular order except for the last two, and they are basically just going down the list and talking about them one by one. So first, we're going to go with Elsa Fisher as Kayla Day in 8th grade. Now, she actually did get nominated for lead actress at the Golden Globes, and I thought she did a very admirable job in the movie. I wasn't necessarily a huge fan of the film itself, but her performance as Kayla was incredibly well done. She did a fantastic job of bringing back that stressful awkwardness that we all felt back when we were in 8th grade, and the ability to kind of just basically drag us back down to our childhood and have us relive what we would think of as, which is nothing nowadays, but back then was horror for us back then. She does an incredible job of basically playing kind of almost like two different roles of a character. She plays a very confident girl when she's doing her own YouTube channel where she's giving advice to people and mainly to herself, and then she plays the very closed off loner character when she's outside of her room in her school with people in the mall, all that kind of stuff. She does a fantastic job of balancing both, and you just want her to kind of basically become that character that she is in her room. But Elsie does a great job overall with the film. She carries the film throughout, and without her performance, I don't think 8th grade would have worked as well as it did. Going to the next one, this one's just a personal favorite of mine. It's not going to get any huge recognition or anything like that, but it's Rachel McAdams as Annie in Game Night. I just loved Rachel McAdams in this role. I thought she was hilarious and delightful in the character of Annie. You just see that Rachel McAdams is having so much fun in this particular role. Haven't really seen her do comedies probably since Wedding Crashers and Hot Chick, which I loved her in both those roles. But yeah, I really love Rachel McAdams in this. She works perfectly off of Jason Bateman and the rest of the cast. And like I said, she's just having so much fun that she makes you have fun watching her perform it. So yeah, Rachel McAdams up there for Annie in Game Night. The next one, while I wasn't particularly a fan of the movie itself, I definitely appreciated the performance of Viola Davis as Veronica in Widows. Viola Davis is a phenomenal actress in her own. She's done amazing in everything I've seen her in, especially Fences that she came out with, I believe it was last year. And she does great in this film as well. She does a fantastic job as Veronica, where is a woman who, I think she's a part of the school board, who basically pretends that she doesn't really know what her husband Liam Neeson is doing, but then once he dies in the middle of a robbery, she basically has to find a way to come up with $2 million in the next month, or she will be killed by the people that her husband stole money from. And so to watch her transformation from a woman who literally is just kind of just going through her life like normal to having to completely change the way she looks at things and how she goes about certain situations into becoming a thief, and then also having to orchestrate a a master plan with a bunch of women that she doesn't know very well, and just watching the transformation that Viola Davis does as Veronica in the film to almost coming off to as cold-hearted to the point where she doesn't care if any of these people survive as long as she gets the money so that way she can save her own life. The movie itself wasn't necessarily that great, but Viola Davis did a fantastic job in the role, just like she does in every film, and should always be on one of these lists. The next one, she was also in Widows, but I wasn't really a big fan of her in that. But she is amazing in this film, and that is Cynthia Erivo as Darlene Sweet in The Bad Times at the El Royale. Now, this film is literally her coming out party. I believe she was a Broadway star, and this is one of her very first roles on the big screen, and she knocks it out of the park as Darlene Sweet. Her charismatic approach to the film, and just also being incredibly protective of herself as well. Her particular scenes with Jeff Bridges in the film are a standout. I love the one particular scene where her and Jeff Bridges are sitting at a table in the hotel, and you can tell that both of them are just trying to feel the other one out because neither one of them truly believes the story that the other one is saying. So it's very much a cat and mouse kind of game. And Cynthia Erivo does a fantastic job in that movie. And as much as I love that movie and I think all the performances are fantastic, this movie literally lives or dies on the performance of Cynthia Erivo as Darlene, and she should have been nominated for her performance in this, but sadly she was once again snubbed. But yeah, Cynthia Erivo for Darlene Sweet. If anyone hasn't seen Bad Times at El Royale, definitely go out of your way to see it for all the performances, but definitely for the breakout performance of Cynthia Erivo. Next on the list is a personal favorite of mine. It is one of my favorite movies of the year. It was in my top films of the year, and I think she crushed it in this role, but she's getting more recognition for another film she did later in the film, or later in the year, and that is Natalie Portman as Lena in Annihilation. She is getting a lot of recognition for, I think it's Von Lux. I personally have not seen that film, so I have no idea how well she is in it, but I loved Natalie performance as Lena in Annihilation. She basically comes in a full badass character type role, and she carries the film with a bunch of amazing other actresses in the movie, and basically carries the emotion of a wife who doesn't really quite know what's happening. She's a biologist, and her husband's gone missing, and when her husband returns and she sees he's not quite right, not quite well, she jumps into the abyss that he was in to try to figure out what was the cause or what's causing him to act so strangely, and to also figure out what the hell's going on. And I think Natalie Portman does an amazing job, especially at the end of the film, in the climax. I thought she did fantastic. I mean, she's great all the way throughout, but I personally loved her in the last 15 minutes of this film. Annihilation is a movie that's not getting nearly enough recognition, and Natalie Portman's performance is a huge part of that. And you guys should go out of your way to see probably the best science fiction film of the year, as well as one of the best female performances of the year in Natalie Portman. Next is a dual performance. While I do feel the performance is deserved for one over the other, she is getting the recognition and nominations for the other, and that is Emily Blunt as Evelyn Abbott and Mary Poppins in A Quiet Place and Mary Poppins Returns. Now, while she is getting the Golden Globe nomination for Mary Poppins, I feel that Emily Blunt should have been getting nominations for her role as Evelyn Abbott in A Quiet Place, as I felt that was a stronger role for her and just an overall better performance for her outright. While she does do a bunch of amazing things in Mary Poppins, such as the big choreographed and song numbers, I feel that her approach as Evelyn Abbott is incredibly powerful and traumatic in her role. The whole scene in the film where she has to go through labor while trying to be quiet so the aliens don't hear her, and the turmoil that she's feeling as she's having contractions in the bathtub and just having to hold back the screams until the last moment is amazing. And I feel that Emily Blunt does a phenomenal job in that role. And like I said, she's also fantastic in Mary Poppins as well. I just prefer A Quiet Place's role over Mary Poppins. But easily she's also, if we go to the Mary Poppins side of things, Emily Blunt does a fantastic job in that as well. She has easily one of the best scenes of the year with I think it's like "Don't Judge a Cover by the Book" or "Cover by the Book" or so whatever that song's called with her and Lin-Manuel Miranda. They crushed that song. She does a great job in that as well. So Emily Blunt, in her own right, 2 fantastic performances, and she deserves to be on this list and every other top performer list of 2018. The next one pisses me off. It really pisses me off because this, to me, is probably the best performance of the year, if not number 2, and it is not getting any recognition at all. No one's talking about her. And that is Toni Collette as Annie in Hereditary. Toni Collette puts on one of the best performances of the year, if not the best performance of the year, as Annie in Hereditary. The levels of just levels upon levels of stuff that she has to go through in this film. She goes through guilt. She goes through mourning. She goes through loss. She goes through just mental illness. There's just so many things that Toni Collette has to go through in this film. And the first time you watch this movie, you blame everything on her, that the reason why everything is happening is because of her character. And then by the end of that movie, and you go into see a second viewing of it, you totally see her in an entirely different way because of the outcome of the film the first time you've seen it. And her performance doesn't sway you one way or the other. She does a fantastic performance both all the way through, to the point that you can see her as 2 different kinds of characters based on the outcome of the film on multiple viewings. Her performance is amazing. There's so many scenes where she just crushes it. The dinner table scene at most right now is easily, if I was going to pick an Oscar clip and put this clip on there for people to watch her, it would definitely be the dinner table scene in Hereditary between her and Alex Wolff. Is just effing amazing. She crushes it in this role, and it is a crime that Toni Collette is not getting any recognition for this movie. I don't understand what more she could have done in this role to get a nomination, but apparently it wasn't enough because she's not getting a Golden Globe nomination. We still don't know if she's getting an Oscar nomination, but her not getting a Golden Globe is probably a good tip of the hat that she will not get one. But yeah, Toni Collette, easily one of, if not the best performance of 2018, and is not getting the recognition that she rightfully deserves. Going on to the last performance, this is easily one of my favorite performances of the year as well, right next to Toni Collette, and that is, of course, Lady Gaga as Ally in A Star is Born. Now, a lot of people would like to object to saying that she's basically playing herself, but I don't agree with that. I think the portrayal of Ally is done breathtakingly amazingly by Lady Gaga. The levels that she goes through as a woman who literally has all the talent in the world and just does not have the confidence because of what she's been told previously, to basically going out on that stage when she sings Shallow for the first time on stage. The emotion that she just engulfs out there basically makes anyone watching her basically get emotional. I almost was on the brink of tears just watching her rise to being born of a star, aka A Star is Born, in that performance. It is such a powerful moment in that film. And then she performs another song. I'm blanking on the name of it right now. Remember Us This Way. Another phenomenal song that she sings in this role. She kills that song. And then, of course, obviously, all the great one-on-one scenes with her and Bradley Cooper through their ups and downs is fantastic all the way through, all the way to the incredibly heartbreaking ending to "I Will Never Love Again" that she performs at the end of the movie. Brought me to tears, especially the very last part of the film. If I wasn't crying during that song, that last part of the song definitely broke me. And I don't know how many times I've watched this movie, but it still makes me feel the same way every single time. And that is because of her and Bradley Cooper's amazing performances. And that is why she will probably win Best Actress for the Golden Globes and the Oscars, and rightfully so, since Toni Collette is not getting nominated. So that is the list for top actress performances of 2018. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys liked it, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you guys feel like it's worth sharing, go ahead and hit that share button so everyone else can watch it. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you guys stay up to date with the channel when I put out any new videos. And don't forget to follow us on all the social media things that you see below. And until next time, good morning, good afternoon, and good night, Movie Crusaders.